Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wayne Gaming, and Sunny Mountain Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with the Let's Play episode of NeveN. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alrighty. I just want to make sure everything's okay. I'm fine, I promise, and we're perfectly fine. If you say so, who am I to disagree? Good. Could have been miserable if if I had to sleep without my big feathery pillow again. Is that all I am to you? It's certainly one of your many advantages. I stick my tongue out at him before taking a slightly bouncier step forward. Hey, wait, I've got something else to tell you. Oh, I'm listening, my lovely blanket. Wait, Eloise? Sorry. A bit of seriousness now and then can do you some good, you know. Sorry, it's not my thing. And by Tessel, sometimes I wonder what I'm going to do with you. Anyway, I wanted to tell you that we've been invited by Lady Astrid. What? When and why? In the morning, while you were finishing changing, she invited us to tea this afternoon. As in both of us? Yes, both of us. That's strange. I'd have thought she wouldn't want to see me until she had to, especially after everything that's happened. You mean what happened between you and her fiancé? Yeah, I destroyed her marriage, Ahket, and while I know how the accountant felt about her, I have no idea how Astrid felt about him. It's very likely that I'm not her favorite person right now. But you're also the royal bard, and I don't think her pride would allow her to ignore what you represent. What we represent. Don't forget that's your title, too. Yeah, yet I'm not the one who's been invited to the council. It's probably simply because you're Acadian. Give them a bit of time. Oh, I don't mind. I'm not really interested in the political side of the job. Really? And you think I am? There's no way you're going to leave me to muddle through this whole thing on my own. If I have to put up with the councils where we discuss the maximum amount of wood traded per year between two nations depending on the amount of marble produced and distributed, I can assure you that you'll have to face it with me. The quantity of what? I don't know. I didn't understand it either, and I think it's some trade thing between Kazal and Frostfang they talked about at the last council meeting. You can clearly see that I need you in there. I'm gonna go crazy if I'm the only person who doesn't understand anything. After a brief moment looking at me dumbfounded, Ahket bursts out laughing, clearly unable to control himself. Hey! Sorry, it's hard to take you seriously when you scout like that. You're just so cute. He's laughing again. No way, I won't allow you. I can absolutely be taken seriously. I'm capable of being as fierce and angry as anyone else. I try to look menacing, which seems to make Ahket laugh even harder. After a few moments, I can't help but join him. The absurdity of the situation finally getting to me too. Someone's having a good time. I jump as I hear Vakad's voice echoing behind me. Fuck! He gave me a fright! Huh, that wasn't my intention. Hello, Vakad. Hello, Birdie. Birdie? That's a new one. I don't think I've ever heard him give a cat a nickname before. Hey. So, what are you up to on the streets of our beautiful city? Oh, you know, enjoying the last day of the festival, visiting last stalls, that sort of thing. You've really got some lovely little shops around here. There you go. Really? Oh, really? That's absolutely fascinating. Ahket gives me a sidelong glance, and it's not hard to see why. Vakad's remark is full of sarcasm. Are you alright? You seem a bit on edge. Long night hunting and preparing stuff for the nobles, that's all. I guess that plays a bit on my mood. Oh, you were going back to the castle to rest, I suppose. We won't want to hold you up any longer than necessary. I could spare a little time to talk with my two favorite artists, not to mention that I'm a bit worried about you two. What do you mean? Two nobles on their own in the streets of Frostfang, one of them bearing the brand of NeveN, the other being a Makadian Seah. A lot of people might want to try their luck against two celebrities such as yourselves, and you have no escort. Oh, but we're well protected. Rowan or another guard is probably out there somewhere watching what's going on. He already had to intervene once to chase Sven away. Ooh, well in that case, I suppose all my worries are over. I cannot be more reassured. The stag offers us a smile before glancing around briefly. I suppose I'd better be off. As you so rightly noted, I was on my way back to rest. Fatigue is beginning to show. In that case, I wish you a pleasant rest. Thank you, and you carry on having fun while you can. Thanks, and bye. After a final nod, the stag disappears back into the crowd, only his antlers protruding clearly above the heads of the bystanders. Do we agree that he wasn't in his normal state? I must admit that he wasn't really behaving in his usual way, but he said he was tired, didn't he? Yeah, but I don't know, something was off. I'm sure it's nothing. I hope so, anyway. I don't want to have to worry about Vakad on top of everything else. Stop worrying. He said everything was fine. Don't create problems that don't exist. Sorry, it's a bad habit, I suppose. It's up to me to find a way to get rid of it. Ahket smiles at me before carefully rubbing his beak against my muzzle. He's right, I should be focusing on what's happening right now. And also on the problems I know about, like Astrid's invitation, for example. I really don't want to go. Are you sure it's a good idea? Ellois, we don't really have a choice. She's invited us. To refuse now would be to humiliate her. I doubt that's what you're looking for. No, you're right, but I still doubt it would be pleasant. I keep my gaze fixed on Astrid's door for a long moment. I'm not looking forward to spending God's only knows how much time enduring her wrath in private. I doubt she invited us over for a simple afternoon of dunking biscuits and coffee. So it is with a sigh that I knock on the door, only to see it open almost immediately, leaving me face to face with an unfazed bulldog. Your guests, ma'am. Perfect. Thank you, Berthold. You may leave us. I wish to speak with them in private. Of course, ma'am. Good day to you, gentlemen. Without another word, the dog leaves. Don't just stand there. Come and settle in. Well, too late to change my mind. As I enter what I think is her bedroom, I realize that in reality this appears to be more of a small lounge. An extremely richly decorated lounge at that. I have the impression that there is gold or jewelry on all the furniture. I suspected she was rich, but still, it's almost ridiculous at this point. The cat doesn't seem the least bit shocked by what he sees, however, and he quietly takes a seat opposite Astrid, who is waiting for us, propped up in his sofa with lots of cushions and 3 cups of tea on the table in front of her. Welcome to the Royal Bards. Winners by default of an interrupted contest. I see we're off to a good start right away. Good morning, Lady Astrid. Astrid. And we're sorry about the contest, but... The poodle raises her hand to interrupt my companion. It's not really your fault, I know, not to mention that I'm not an idiot. I saw your performance 2 days ago and at the contest. I don't think I would have won, even if I'd had the chance to sing myself. I just wanted to remind you of the state of things. If I'm able to see the events as they are, unfortunately, that's not the case for everyone. Some people are angry with you for a victory they don't think you deserve. And you think I don't know that? I'm the first to feel that I don't deserve my place here. Ellois? But we're not here to dwell on the past, nor to confront each other. Quite the opposite. What? I thought you wanted to talk about the whole thing with... The Count of Kelt, my former fiancé. Yes. You should understand, Lady Astrid, that Ellois is very sorry for everything that happened. The poodle lets out a sigh, and for the first time since I've known her, the impassive, smug look disappears from her face. She looks both tired and... relieved? Our engagement was never an act of love. It was purely political. To bring our families together. The Count has always been honest about his preferences, and the fact that he was pursuing other lovers didn't bother me. So what was the problem? If you agreed, why would you have us chased out of town? Because there was a condition to it. Something you don't seem to understand, which makes everything about this situation complicated. Feeling I'm going to be either extremely flattered or terribly insulted very soon. Discretion, Ellois. All I asked for was discretion. And this fool finds nothing better to do than to be caught bringing the noisiest bard in the kingdom back to an inn room. Eh? She's not entirely wrong about that. You have a hard time not being noticed. It's literally my job to be noticed. A little restraint now and then wouldn't do you any harm. I can be perfectly secretive when I want to be. I can't believe they think I can't do that. And Ahket, you're supposed to be on my side in all this. Anyway, the problem isn't that my former fiancé decided to do what he did. What forced me to act was that he managed to make sure everyone knew about it. I had to react to this humiliation. And so your wrath fell on my band and me? Well, I certainly wasn't going to chase the Count off his own domain. So that's it? It all happened because he got caught? In terms of politics, it's more than enough to cause major problems. I suppose it is, but I'm still sorry. It wasn't my intention. The poodle smiles at me briefly before taking a sip of her tea. I suppose I can overlook the humiliation, especially as, in the end, it was all for my benefit. What do you mean? I wouldn't have come to Frostfang if it hadn't been for this, and I certainly wouldn't be in the position I am today. A moment's silence follows, as I try to work out what all this means. I didn't expect Astrid to be so nuanced on the matter. Instead of the fury and rage I expected to find, I'm faced with admittedly a degree of anger, but tinged with opportunism. The world of the nobility is very different from my own. But as I said, we're not here to dwell on the past. We're going to talk about the future, especially yours. After all, you are an anomaly, and the royal court hates nothing more than protruding nails it can't hammer. An anomaly? What are you talking about? A duo of bards who come out of nowhere and we know nothing about. They have no allegiances, we know nothing of their political convictions, and all we know is that one is a commoner from a god-forsaken village. And the other a Macadian nobleman. We are unpredictable. We sow chaos in everyone's plans. How can you take account of someone you know nothing about, but who nonetheless occupies an essential position close to power? Every time Ahket speaks like that, it hits me. He's a nobleman, though he's never been directly involved in anything as big as Frostfang's court. He has some familiarity with it all, and probably understands the situation far better than I do. It's high time the situation changed. We can no longer allow you to wander, if at least you had shown some real closeness to one of the important names in the kingdom. And I suppose it's your side we should join? To put it as clearly as possible, yes. It's not just in my interest, it's in yours, too. Don't you already have enough influence? All the nobility's behind you, after all. I'm not sure what more we could bring. I wish it were that simple. If that's anything like Macabre, the nobles are rarely united. I told you there were several big Sead families, each in charge of a branch of slavery, didn't I? I remember something like that, yeah. And from the outside, they're a united front. They seem to get along, but it doesn't take much to see that they hate one another and do everything in their power to diminish each other's influence. They've seen Father rejoice in the deaths of dozens of slaves because they belong to a rival family. And although they were not there yet, it is the same in Frostfang. Yes, I speak on behalf of the nobility to the kings, but the reality is mostly that I'm trying to keep the nobles in check for Lusk and Aeon, and make sure they don't rock the boat. Something tells me that with Maelborn's actions during the festival, it can't be that easy. It made things considerably more difficult. The three main groups of nobles are at each other's throats, each with a different opinion on this execution. 3 groups? I suppose there's the old nobility and those who earned their titles under the new kings. But who are the third? Macabre sympathizers, few in number on their own, but they make up for that with some pretty impressive wealth. There are old and new nobles alike, but they all want to reduce the surveillance of the borders that separate us from our neighbors to the south. The lure of easy riches from exploitable labor. Ahket's voice almost surprises me. He doesn't even try to hide his bitterness. What about you? Which one of these groups do you belong to? None, and all at the same time. They all have their flaws, but they're all right about some aspects as well. I try to maintain a balance and keep them under the control of the crown, which is far from simple. That's where you come in. If we can make it clear that we are on good terms, it could greatly simplify my work while offering you opportunities for alliances and negotiations with the nobles. As long as it's done with a minimum of subtlety, of course. Something tells me that last sentence was intended for me personally. I don't see why we... Because of what you represent, rather than because of your actual power. You are the perfect example of what the new nobility, the one established by Aeon and Lusk, should be. You earned your title through merit, whatever you think of it. Whereas I'm a representative of Makad, whether I like what's going on there or not makes no difference. Just as I am a daughter of the old nobility, the surface appearances often count more than the reality of the situation. So 3 of us could calm the factions and ensure better control of the country, by simply showing that we're working together. That sounds a bit too easy. Because it would be, if that's all it was. That's all I ask of you, but I'll have to take care of the rest. We can't all live as innocently as you do. That's why I would have preferred someone who was a bit more used to the political game in your position. Is that what all the fuss was about at the party before the contest? It was all for political wheeling and dealing? I admit I could have been more tactful. Tactful as opposed to insulting all your competitors as well as the profession? Ellois! Alright, y'all, I'm going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silver, and thank you going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to our 3 gold tier patrons, Zeke, Toby, and Blue Alpha Wolf. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I shall see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!